Okay. Today we're going to understand about basic DBMS and how you can uh, implement a database management system by using Access. And the first part today we will discuss the introduction and how we can draw a ER diagram. Then we will be in later session we will find out how you can implement a database management with Access. Let's see the overview. So we will first have our introduction, then we will look at what is database management system and how you can implement a database management system by MS Access by using tables, forms and reports, and final tips and takeaways. So let's go to the introduction. So first we will see why we need a database. Okay. So we need the database to store data, and we will need that data. We will take that data when we need. For example, if there is a bank, the database contains your all account details. Without database, you can't save your data and you can't process on your data. You can, if you should have some value in the account and you have to transfer. You may transfer your money to someone, so those records should be stored in somewhere. If we consider a bank, and when we consider your birth certificate details, your birth certificate details will be needed in various occasions. For example, when you apply for schools, when you go abroad, in many occasions you will need a copy of your birth certificate. So birth certificate have basic details. Who is your mother, father, where is you born, all the details there in your birth certificate, including your name as well. Now we consider a database. Before introducing computers, there are also a file management system to store data. And before computers are used, people use book to store data. When we consider specifically for birth certificate details, the people has saved it in the books with rules and the columns. So in a rule of a book, it has the details of a specific person. Those details are divided into columns. Maybe first names are in one column, second name are in another column, father name in one column, mother name will be in one column. Likewise, The same similar data are arranged into columns in the book. Usually, when store data in the book, we use that structure. So in storing data, there are main four processes when you are using managing a database. First one is you have to store the data. Then you have to retrieve data for use. After retrieving data, you can update and delete your data. We will be discuss them in further uh, example later. Now I will explain those four processes with the familiar process for you in the learning process. Everyone are learning during your lifetime. We call it as lifelong learning. So when we consider a specific subject, for example, mathematics, you have to learn the theories. So you will read the books, or you will be receive your teaching from your teacher about the theories. And first you will see the theories and learn the theories. But while you are learning, those theories are stored in your memory. Okay. So think you have that Pythagoras law in mathematics. When you first learning that law, you may understand the Pythagoras law wrongly as its original nature. But when you discuss with your teacher or when you discuss with your friend, you may correct your perception to the correct one. This is the Pythagoras law. Okay. So that is the update of the knowledge. If you have the wrong understanding of knowledge, you will realize when you discuss with someone, my knowledge is wrong about this, and you will correct your knowledge. So you can tell it as update. For update also, you have to remember what is the Pythagoras law, the current version. If you do not remember anything, you can't update. So to update, you have to retrieve the knowledge. You should know there is something called Pythagoras law. You should remember it. Then when you discuss it with someone with that memory, you will see whether your current knowledge should be updated or not. Then if it is if it should update, then we'll update it. Another thing is with the time. For example, uh, in the module system or in the semester system in the universities, subject you learn in the first semester, you may not remember in your fourth year last semester in the university. That means you don't remember means you had unintentionally deleted the knowledge from your memory. You can't remember anything about the if the subject is you can say as basic computer science. Sometimes if you are a student of a different degree subject, maybe commerce, then you may not remember the subject contents in the fourth year if you do not use them. For all the subjects has that nature that if they do not go to your long-term memory, then you will forget it. It is equal to deleting. After deleting, you can't remember. Only solution is you have to recreate it, or you have to restudy it, and again you have to restore your memory. Okay, so those four processes all in the learning process as well. Now we will come to the database management system. This similarly to create knowledge, to to learning, that storing knowledge in your memory. In the system also we will be store the details of the people or uh, concepts according to the purpose of your database. When we consider the birth certificate database, we will store the people data. Then the retrieval process we will need if a person come and ask to get a copy of or his birth certificate. So we have to search it and find the birth certificate. Another thing is if a person needed to change a name into new name, there are some people they born with one name. Later, when they grow, they are wanted to change their name, and they will be requested to change the name. For that request also, that current birth certificate details are needed. So according to that, you need to retrieve those details. And in the manual process, before computer come to the field, what has happened is you had put it into a book, and there is a rack in the cabinet for smaller area, and there is a entire cabinet for another larger area, and you will have several cabinets. So if someone asks their birth certificate details in manual system, what we do is we will first find out the cabinet, then find out the rack, and then we will be find out the book. Inside the book you have to find out the page of the person's details and retrieve the person's details and put it into the paper and give. But in that process also, when you have to go to, you have to find the cabinet, you have to find the rack and the book. It will take time larger than uh, how you are doing it currently with the computers. And when you consider the misplacement of arrangement, for example, in the rack there should be an order in the book, but if someone put the book in the wrong place, then you will not find that book. So you have to research by going each book by each book, and it take larger time. If you misplace in the book, even the book is accidentally went to the wrong cabinet, then the results are devastating. It will take months to find the details. But with the interaction of the computers, the faster part of this process is the retrieval. You can find wherever your data is in your database by seconds. So the importance of database management system is uh, over the old file management system, that faster finding data even for update and delete. For example, if someone is dead, then you have to delete that record from your birth certificate database. But if it is a ordinary file management system rather than the database management system, then you have to uh, find it and cut off the record. But in database management system, you have to just find it and you have to delete it in one place, and it automatically will delete from all the places that data is in the database. So let's continue. For the ER diagram, the ER diagram is the one that someone could design a database and get an idea how data is interacting each other in a logical manner. So for example, if we take student has some information like name, address, age. So first you have to identify there is someone called student, people who learn in somewhere. So it is actually a concept. So it can be a object, maybe if there is a inventory database, then there are desks and tables, chairs. They are objects. Okay, but when it comes to live person, it is a concept. Student is a people, a person who learn, and teacher is the person who teach. It is also a person, but teach is a task that person doing. According to that, we had defined. So it is a concept. So we call those concept or person object we will find in the system as an entity. So system can be anything, maybe a school, maybe university. If we take a student as an entity, as I mentioned before, student has some properties. So these properties we call as attributes. All the students have them. For example, all the students have their name. All the students have their address, their age. All the students have their identity card. So likewise, first in the system, you can identify the entities like student, teacher, subject. Likewise, if it is a school management system as a sample system. So there is a special kind of attribute or property that we can identify each student separately. For example, if there are even twins, so twins are in, for the twins, the name also be alike. Usually parents put alike name for twins. They are in the same age and the same address. Okay, so the ID is the one that so much differ from one twin to another twin. Okay. Likewise, for if we take two instances, the property we will be choose to identify each instant separately, we can tell as a primary key. So primary key in the ER diagram we will be denote as underline. So you should have underline in here, okay, for ID. Now we will be move how each entity interact with each other. For example, there are two entities here. Entities are represented by the rectangle. Here the rectangle. Okay. And in previously the properties are indicated by a oval. We will connect the property with the entity like this. Now when we consider the interaction between two entities, create a relationship. So student and subject. What student do with the subject? Students learning the subject. That is what student doing with the subject. When we read the entity, when we read the relationship, we will read the relationship from left to right. So student learn subject. We will denote the interaction with the relationship mark. Relationship mark will be represent with the diamond shape like this. So student learn subject. Even you can interchange the subject and the student. If you put the subject in this part, the most left part, then subject learn by student. So this interaction will be changed to learn by, because we always read it from left to right, the relationship. So we will see other relationships in the sample system. Then we denote with the interaction with student and the report card. Student has report card. Usually in here we will use a verb because it is an interaction. Student has a report card. Or you can say report card hold by student if you wanted to put a report card in the left side. Okay. Then we will see the interaction in between the subject and the teacher. So teacher, you have the subject, teacher, teach, subject. So that is the interaction. We will read it from left to right. Then if you wanted to interchange these two entities, subject into this place and the teacher into this place, then subject teach by teacher. Okay. Likewise, you can make it forward and backward. So now we will discuss the cardinality. So cardinality is how many instances interact with instances with the other entity. For example, you have student here. So one student, if we take one student, How many report card one student has? One report card. One student having one report card. So we will put one here. When we consider one report card here, if you have one report card, how many students for one report card? Only one student, no? For one report card. So we will put one here. So we call this as cardinality of a relationship. So next cardinality is if we consider the teacher and the subject. If we consider one subject, here, how many teachers will teach one subject? If we consider school, usually one subject teach by one teacher in the classroom. So one subject has one teacher. And when we consider one teacher, okay, in school maybe one teacher can teach science and agriculture both. Likewise, one teacher can teach many subjects. So we can put many here. Next example is the interaction of student and the subject. When we consider one student, if we consider one student learn not only one subject, no, several subjects are learned. So you will put N to denote many. If we consider one subject, one subject learned by many students, not only one student. So we have to put M here. So that is the cardinality of with the student and the subject. So in here we had recognized three type of cardinalities. First one is one to one in both sides. Second one is in one side it is one, other side is many. One to many relationship. Okay. Third one is many to many. Okay, many to in this side. If we consider one instant, there are many. Here also we consider one instant, there are many. So these are three type of cardinalities I had explained by using three relationships. Now we will see the total ER diagram. So we have student and the subject relationship. Student learns subject. Student has these properties and the ID is the primary key. That ID, by the ID student can recognize separately. The next one is subject. Subject has subject code. This should be the ID subject code. It should also have subject name. Now you have the first relationship here, subject, student and the subject, and you can construct from the subject the next relationship from the subject to the teacher. Okay. We first consider this relationship. Okay. Now when we consider this relationship, we have to take the relationship from left to right. This is the relationship mark. Here is the relationship mark. From the relationship mark left to right. And here this is the relationship mark. So left to right. Okay. Teacher, teach, subject. I had, for convenience, I do not mention other properties that teacher should have, but in the proper diagram you have to mention the properties of the teachers as well. The under one is the report card. Okay, so the relationship is is in this way. Then we will have from starting bottom to here. Sorry, the top to bottom. Okay. Student has report card. Student has report card. Okay, from top to bottom. And here left to right. So likewise, you can implement the ER diagram. So this is the full ER diagram with all the relationships and the primary keys. You have student, learn, subject here. Then subject, teach by teacher. If it is in the, you have the relationship here, left side and right side. You can consider like that. Then subject, teach by teacher. Then when consider the report card, here the relationship here from between report card and the subject. Report card created by the subject. Okay, so this is the basic lesson of ER diagram. I hope you can create several ER diagrams. You can try various systems. This is the school system. How student entity, subject entity, teacher entity, and a report entity are interact. And I hope you can identify the systems like banking system. You can identify the customer, account, and the banker, and the passbook. Likewise, you can create a similar ER diagram. Even when we consider a hospital, you can identify entities like doctor, patient, nurse, medicine, and you can construct similar interaction of the entities by using the ER diagram with their properties. I hope you will try. I will. I hope you will try to draw ER diagrams for such systems, so you will get used to draw these ER diagrams. So this is the first part of the lesson. In the next lesson, we will see how you can map this ER diagram, what we found in the axis. In the axis, we are implementing these interaction of entities, so you can save the data and you can manage the data and easily retrieval the data. And to implement these logical diagrams in the softwares like Access, Uh, we use relational database management. We tell it as RDM, RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. So this is the logical structure, and in the next lesson we will be discuss about the uh, implementation of this logical structure in the software by using relational database management. How we can map these objects to the tables and forms and other components of the software of the DBMS. Okay, thank you. We will meet from the next lesson.